Welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving deep into a hypothetical rabbit hole that might make some of you nostalgic, some of you concerned, and a few of you violently disagree in the comment section, which we welcome, by the way. So here's the question: what if Warcraft never existed? No Warcraft Orcs and Humans, no Warcraft 2, no Warcraft 3, and definitely no World of Warcraft. Just poof, gone, never happened. Now, before your spine stiffens at the thought of a gaming timeline without WoW, let me just say, this isn't just about a fantasy RTS game or an MMORPG. This is about how Warcraft helped shape entire genres, it influenced developers, spawned spin-offs, and altered the fate of companies like Blizzard, Valve, and even Riot Games. So strap in. We're breaking this into digestible chapters, each exploring a ripple effect of Warcraft's hypothetical absence. Let's start in 1994. Warcraft Orcs and Humans launches as Blizzard's answer to the growing popularity of real-time strategy games like Dune 2. It combines fantasy lore, base building, and two asymmetrical factions in a way that immediately sets it apart. By the time that Warcraft 2 drops in 1995, it's clear that Blizzard isn't just riffing on existing formulas, they're refining them. Big time. Multiplayer over dial-up, tight mechanics, and map editors, these things all create a loyal player base. Warcraft 2 sold over 3 million copies by the end of the 90s, a massive number for an RTS game at the time. Here's the first point of divergence though: without Warcraft, Blizzard likely doubles down on other genres. Maybe it leans more into console ports or action titles like The Lost Vikings. They almost became a console-focused studio before Warcraft's success changed their trajectory. Now here's a biggie. Warcraft 3 wasn't just a game, it was a modding platform. Without Warcraft 3 in 2002, there is no Defense of the Ancients, no Dota, which means also no League of Legends, no Dota 2, and to be honest, no MOBA genre. Riot Games wouldn't exist as a company, or maybe it becomes something very, very different. Imagine a world where your most toxic gaming moment came from a racing game lobby and not a League of Legends one. Let's not forget the custom map explosion, tower defense games, RPG-style campaigns, minigames like Sheep Tag or Footman Frenzy that shaped the entire generation of casual and hardcore gamers alike. This is the elephant in the room. World of Warcraft, which released in 2004. It didn't just define MMORPGs, it devoured the genre. WoW boasted over 12 million active subs at its peak. By 2010, Blizzard was making over $1 billion annually from WoW subscriptions alone. Without WoW, here's what happens. There's no pressure on MMOs to meet Blizzard's quality, no subscription boom in MMOs, no EverQuest 2 trying to compete in 2004. Final Fantasy XI and Final Fantasy XIV evolve completely differently. Games like Guild Wars, RuneScape, and the Old Republic follow different paths. And most crucially, Blizzard doesn't become a juggernaut. Overwatch likely doesn't exist, and Hearthstone doesn't exist because that was all built off of Warcraft IP. Without Warcraft, Blizzard might have just stayed a mid-tier studio. No fancy IP means no cinematic reputation, and I'm not just talking about this monstrosity, I'm talking in a general sense. But there's also no Battle.net boom. I mean, Battle.net is a standalone client, but you mostly go there just for the games that Battle.net has, and with the removal of Warcraft, it would look a little bit empty. And here's another big one that I've not touched on yet, but no StarCraft at all, or as we know it. Blizzard Entertainment began planning StarCraft in 1995 with a development team led by Metzen and Finney. The game debuted at the 1996 Electronic Entertainment Expo, and it used a modified Warcraft 2 game engine. So the chances are we probably wouldn't have StarCraft, and by that logic StarCraft 2 as well in this timeline. This means that Blizzard becomes a totally different company. It maybe just even gets acquired early on. World of Warcraft accounts for nearly 60% of Blizzard's total revenue between 2005 and 2010. Which means it's not exactly a big dog. It wouldn't even take that big of a studio to acquire Blizzard. The birth of Dota modding created one of the biggest esports genres of all time. And remember, StarCraft was also massively inspired by Blizzard's success with Warcraft 2. No Warcraft equals esports industry likely growing a lot slower. As of 2023, League of Legends has paid out over 100 million in esports prize pools. Dota 2, over $300 million. Without Warcraft, we're talking about an industry missing billions in viewership and sponsorship. Let's bring this closer to modern times. Without Warcraft, Blizzard probably doesn't merge with Activision. There's no Hearthstone, no WoW Classic, and no WoW Rumble, obviously. Riot probably doesn't become a media company with Arcane, or honestly, the entire company may not even exist. And MOBAs don't dominate Twitch from 2013 to 2019. And let's be honest, the PC gaming market might be smaller. WoW helped to normalize gaming subscriptions, cross-server systems, add-ons, UI mods, massive raids, and structured online clans. Here's a stat for you: over 100 million lifetime WoW accounts have been created. Sure, that might be inflated somewhat by bots or people having multiple accounts, but it's still impressive nonetheless. So this is the less tangible, but also no less important part. Warcraft inspired artists and animators, cosplayers, music composers, writers, and entire YouTube channels, machinima series, fanfics, and they don't exist in this timeline. Some of you might not even have met your spouse in Goldshire Inn, and maybe that's a good thing, or maybe not. So what does this alternate universe look like? Blizzard is a mid-tier developer. Valve doesn't acquire Ice Frog, and there is no Dota or Dota 2. Riot never launches League. MMOs evolve more slowly and more niche. Esports arrives 5 to 10 years later, and fantasy games feel less epic. It's hard to quantify what never was, but you can bet the industry would be unrecognizable. So, was Warcraft just another popular game series, or was it the foundation of a digital empire? By this point, it's clear, if Warcraft never existed, we wouldn't just lose a franchise, we'd lose a cultural pillar of modern gaming. The real question is, what other games today might have that same kind of butterfly effect 20 years from now? Drop your thoughts below, like, subscribe, and share this with a fellow Warcraft fan. In fact, share it in your raiding Discord, I know you all have them. Yeah, maybe share this with a fellow Warcraft fan who can't imagine a timeline without Murlocs. Thanks for watching, see you in the next one.